Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Tri-County Logging. Experienced in sustainable forestry practices, Tri-County Logging can help you manage your property by keeping your woods healthy and generate income. Serving southern and mid-Michigan for nearly 50 years, TriCountyLogging.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson-Silik and we've got an exciting show lined up for you this week. Now we're in the middle of archery season, but a lot of us are already thinking about firearm deer season. We've got a quick tip for you on how to mount a new scope and quickly sight in that gun for firearm deer season. You won't want to miss that story. And speaking of archery, Jimmy and the guys have some other excitement in store for us this week too.
That's right, Jenny. Bow hunting is going to kick off this week's show. Gabe Van Wormer is going to take us to the stand. Actually, a couple different sits with him. You won't want to miss that. He gets a really nice deer on the ground. And I'm going to take us to a grouse camp on the banks of the Manistee River that you won't want to miss. So lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By G5 Outdoors, makers of the Quest and Prime bows, manufactured and designed in Memphis, Michigan. G5 offers a line of archery bows, broadheads, and accessories. On the web at g5outdoors.com.
To those who say we can't build a healthy economy while protecting the environment, DTE Energy has something to say. We're already doing it. Because you don't get to the forefront of cleaner, efficient energy by talking about it. DTE Energy.
Soaking in the rich tradition of Michigan hunting for over 30 years, Vanguard is proud to sponsor our friends at Michigan Out of Doors TV.
It's the second day of the season and I've already got deer out in the cornfield. Hoping tonight's going to be a good night. nice buck. That'll be a great buck next year. I hit him on about 17, 18 yards right here. Nice buck. He's got split G2 on the one side. Got a lot of trail cam pictures of him, but really cool buck. Just not quite what I'm looking for. But he's close. One more year. I have not had many opportunities this year, and I figured I better take it when I got it. She was a little bit quartering to me, but she was at about 5 yards, 7 yards. That's exactly what I want. Man, she came in perfect. Just walking right along this trail. I had to duck underneath this big limb I've got right here, but it worked out. I saw that nocturnal just sip in right where I wanted it, so felt good. Well, it's looking pretty good. Looks like frothy, foamy blood. So I think I got a good lung shot on her. Pretty confident that she's down already. Oh, there she is. There she is. Nice doe. Nice big doe. There she is. Had to go back and find my arrow. Wasn't sure where it was. It was right where I hit her. I mean, it went almost all the way through when I hit her, and so it pulled all the way rest of the way out. So, man, that is a big doe. It's always good to get the first one under your belt each year, and I'm shooting a 2-trax longbow. This is actually like a hybrid flat bow. Real short, real wide limbs, very maneuverable in the tree stand. I love it. I think I've shot 7 or 8 deer with this bow alone. But on this arrow side of things, I'm shooting a very lightweight arrow, a Black Eagle X Impact, and on the very end of it, if you notice, I'm using these tiny little Gateway razor vanes. They're only like 1 3/4 or 2 inches long. It's amazing how good this thing shoots because all the weight is up front. I'm shooting a 300 grain tip on this end. It's called a Valkyrie Jagger. I've been able to shoot almost clean through pretty much everything I've shot with that, unless it hits a major bone. One I drilled right through the shoulder and hit the other side, and that stopped it. But other than that, this thing almost always passes clean through. On this doe, it was hanging out the other side and it pulled out within 2 or 3 yards. But I've been very happy with this setup. Shoots excellent. I'm shooting better than I ever have before, and yeah, it does the trick. As you can see.
Well, special thanks to Gabe for bringing us that story. And if you're anything like me, you can't believe that he passed that buck, but I guess that's everybody's individual choice. What we're going to do in this next story is head to the upland woods on the banks of the Manistee River and check out a really cool grouse camp.
We're going out to try to find some grouse and woodcock.
Yeah, where are we?
We are on the Manistee River, west of Mesik, Michigan, and between Mesik and Manton.
Okay. And there's some birds in here?
There are some birds in here. We've been finding a few birds all year. We banned a few woodcock in here. We've stayed out of it for a few weeks, so hopefully there'll be some birds around.
All right. You got some guys that can shoot here or no?
Abe's the shooter with us. I'm usually the misser and the dog handler. And Sean's a pretty new grouse and woodcock hunter, so it should be pretty fun.
Well, we can blame him then.
That's right. That's right.
About 10 minutes into the first hunt, well, we had a dog on point. A little tough to see with the ferns and the leaves on, but hey, that's upland hunting.
Hunt him up. No bird. No bird.
Well, we had him.
Calvin had him.
Woodcock.
If I could shoot.
Well, he flew right into the sun. I mean, come on.
That's the excuse. Oh, that was a woodcock, yeah. So they'll do a grouse. He's not gonna let Calvin relocate like that. He's gonna get up and go.
Nick works for MUCC and is the editor of the Michigan Out of Doors magazine. He has been hunting grouse and woodcock for several years now, and he is really finding it's one of his favorite outdoor pursuits. Chasing bird dogs can be very addictive.
Get it?
Dead.
Touch.
Dead bird? Yep. Hey!
Shot it.
Well, she was tracking that bird.
Shot. Yeah.
What happened there, young fella?
Had a crossing shot. Right when it hit the opening, just about 1 or 2 fingers in front of it and pulled the trigger.
Nice job.
Yep.
Boy, you had a nice open line. Look at this. It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, that's about as easy as you get.
Jeez.
Should be right over behind those 2 big pines.
We had a grouse that was probably running just a little bit. They've been running the last couple days. So Calvin worked it probably 30 yards, had 4 stops, kept hunting, and then on about the 5th stop and move, that grouse got up, and Abe was able to connect on it.
Perfect.
Now we just got to see if we can find it. Hey.
Oh, little red face.
Yeah, pretty bird.
Very pretty bird.
That's a big mature bird.
Nice,
Beautiful.
nice red phase grouse.
Jeez, oh Pete.
And so uninterrupted tail. So I think the females have a interrupted tail in the middle. So this is probably a male hen or a male bird.
Nice shooting there.
Yeah, very nice. On the board. Just got to do that 4 more times.
Now, Abraham is one very seasoned bird hunter. His mom, Sally, was one of the big names in not only bird dogs here in Michigan, but also in the banding program. She passed her love of the upland woods to him, and he has run with it. Nick and he have been hunting now for a few years together, and when they told me about their camp on the Manistee River, well, I needed to check it out. But even more so, they had a very special lunch being catered here today, and if I'm honest, that alone was worth the trip.
We're having a field lunch by the guys, Joe and Chris from Michigan Upland Experience.
Yeah, how did you score this?
Our buddy Ed bid on it at a rough grouse auction, so he'll be here shortly, and I think all that money gets donated back to the drummer fund.
Nice. So this is not your run-of-the-mill lunch then that you guys
This
do
is
all
not
the
going to
time?
be a run-of-the-mill lunch. This is going to be pretty gourmet stuff for a field lunch by the fire.
And how many years is this camp something you guys been doing for a while?
Yeah, this is our 3rd year, so this is something I'm at every year. Abraham's with me this year. Joe was out here for about a weekend last year. So guys just kind of come and go, and it's all about the dogs.
Most times that is true. This camp is about the dogs, but today, well, it was about the food. Okay, Joe, how did you start doing this whole traveling meal deal?
This all started out as a March Madness donation back in the day, and we drove he's from Kalamazoo, I'm from near Grand Rapids. We drove to the UP and served a guy lunch because he beat us out in the Final Four of March Madness. It's turned from there into what you kind of see around us. We have 3 courses of home-cooked gourmet food. We donate these as auction items, one for Rough Grouse Society and then one through our Facebook page. And the whole purpose really is habitat and then recruitment and to show the side of hunting that isn't just about the birds or just about the deer. This is actually about the people that enjoy it.
Nice.
So that's really what it's all about. It'll look like a mess just until we serve food, and then after that, well, you know, the tablecloth's already on. So this is going to be a lot of fun. The fire's going to start to get down. Dutch oven's going to be hot soon. So
Perfect.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
thanks for being here.
yeah, you're welcome.
So the first round was a woodcock, mushroom, raspberry, and smoked Gouda pastry. It was really good. Then we had fresh woodcock cooked over a fire, then topped with a cherry bourbon glaze. Oh, and by the way, we ended with filet mignon and fresh asparagus. I will keep my ears open for when this auction happens next year. It may be something we have to cover every year. With full bellies, we finally hit the woods again. And wouldn't you know, even with our full crew of guys, we found another point.
Whoa! Bird. Did he get hit? Fetch! Fetch! Right here. Right here. Right here, girl. Hey. Here. Good girl. Another bird.
There you go.
Yeah.
Down here in the thick stuff.
Yeah, that's right where we said. Thank you, man.
Nice job.
Good job, Elsa.
Good girl.
Good girl.
Good girl. You didn't think you hit it.
I didn't think I did. I hit it, and it kind of just felt real slow coming down.
Who had that pointed?
Elsa did. Point and the fetch.
Good job.
Nice job.
Yeah, very nice. Work, man.
Upland hunting is one of the hardest things to capture on camera, but it's also my favorite thing to try. The sights and sounds of the upland woods, well, they are hard to beat. Good dogs, good friends, and in some cases, gourmet meals served over an open fire. It's simply perfection here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
It's hard to believe, but November 15th is just a few short weeks away. If you're thinking about sighting in a new gun or mounting a new scope, you'll want to make sure you check out this next segment.
Whether you're in the market for a brand new rifle or you're just upgrading your old scope to something new, you'll be sighting in your gun from square one. Randy Brown is going to show us how to do that in just a few simple steps.
Okay, we've got a customer drove up from southern Michigan today to pick up this beautiful thumb hole stock 450 and a stainless 22 inch. And what we're going to do is a little video here on how to mount a scope, the way we do it, and then also we're going to sight it in and show you how to do that in hopefully 3 shots, and you're ready to go hunting. So what we do first of all is, of course, double check the torque on all the screws that came from the factory, but these bases came right from the factory on this particular Ruger. And then whenever you're mounting a Weaver style ring, there's a little bit of play because these are Pictionary style grooves, which are a little bit wider. So you always want, when you mount a scope, to bring it all the way to the front because the recoil of the gun's moving back. So you don't want to have it back here and let it slide in there during the recoil of the gun. So once we put it to the very front, get it snug up here, we get it snug here, and we'll do the same to the rear one. We do this with T-handles, and then once you've got the scope on, there's a certain torque, which these are aluminum rings, which we've had tremendous luck with. Actually, I believe they're even stronger than the steel. Inside of every package comes a little Allen wrench. And as you're doing this with aluminum rings, when this goes in here, when you can tighten it with that particular amount of torque, that literally comes to about 22 inch-pounds. And that's the right thing for an aluminum ring. If you're doing steel rings, you can go to 28 inch-pounds, like that. We'll set the caps on there, and then we're going to go get the eye relief and the crosshairs level with the customer. So it's more important to actually have the crosshairs level to the customer than it is to the gun, because especially with a thumb hole stock, they have to have it exactly the way they like it. So I'm going to leave it loose enough to be able to adjust for the customer. So here's your new gun. And we're going to put it to your shoulder, get your thumb through the thumb hole the way you wanted it. We're going to get it in there, and what I'm going to do is get your eye relief about right. And a good rule of thumb is most people do wear a baseball hat like that, and anytime you've got the bill of your hat, you're 3.5 to 4 inches out. This particular scope has a good 5 inches eye relief. So where does it look level to you as far as the crosshairs? Do you need to be turned this way a little bit?
Like that.
Okay. Now take it down and throw it up to your shoulder one more time and just make sure that's exactly where you want it. Look good?
I That looks pretty good to me.
Okay, we're going to tighten it up, bore sight it, and head to the range.
Thanks so much.
So we're going to just snug it up with our T-wrench. And part of this is just for speed to be able to do the T-wrench on these. The amount of scopes we do in a day, we just use this to get it close. And then if you really wanted to, this is the correct way to do it. This is a torque. And what we want to do is roughly 22 inch-pounds on these aluminum rings. And when you get to that level, it will actually click like that. So that's exactly 22 inch-pounds. However, if you don't have one of these at home, the wrench that is sent with most all rings, when you get it on there and have the long arm sticking out, as a human, that's all you can tighten it to, is really that. So you're going to be perfectly safe getting it as tight as you can get with the wrench like that. That was the 22 inch-pounds we just went to, and that's as tight as I can get it. Whereas if you used a wrench like this, you could over-tighten and actually strip the rings. We will do a quick bore sight where you actually go into the bore with, in this case, a 45 caliber arbor, and then this will give you a screen in there to get your crosshair set somewhat close to get started. So now we take the caps off, we've got the bore sighter in, everything's aligned, and now we're just going to look down through it. So we're going to adjust this for elevation and also for windage. We'll get it in the center of the grid, and it is now bore sighted. Okay, so we're out here at the range, and going to set here on the lead sled, get a good positive set down here for this. And we're going to take the first shot at 25 yards, and then I'm going to do my adjustments at 25, and we'll show you through the scope exactly how to do this. The crosshair is now on the bullseye perfectly just where I took the shot, but the shot is a little bit low and off to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this turret, which is going to take the crosshairs down, and then I'm going to turn this over and bring the crosshairs over to that bullet hole. And now your crosshairs are exactly where that gun's shooting. So at 25 yards, we are exactly in the same hole right now with one shot.
After one shot and adjustment at 25 yards, Randy will shift his focus downrange to the 100-yard target. Confident that his shot will be on the paper, Randy sets his sights on the center of the target at 100 yards.
And their bullet hole was 2 inches high and 2 inches right. Okay, I'm going to bring it up 8 clicks, and then I'm going to bring it over the same basic amount. So then all I had to do was bring the crosshairs to the actual bullseye. Take the next shot. That's my third shot, and we're completely sighted in and ready to go deer hunting in Michigan.
Good luck to everyone hitting the woods on November 15th. May you shoot straight and your shots find their marks here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you stick around in upcoming weeks. Lots of great adventures headed your way. We'll show you how I did out in the archery deer woods this year. We'll also take a look at the fall salmon fishery, new UTV rules, all sorts of fun things headed your way. If you'd like to see where we are and where we're headed next, you can always check us out online.
That's right, online is a great way to kind of keep tabs on us. Of course, our website is MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com with full episodes of the show there every week. And we're on most of the social media sites if you want to check us out there. Or you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube and get an email every time we post something new. Lots of good stuff coming over the next several weeks. Hey, if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or greenstonefcs.com. By EOTech, a Michigan company, equipping law enforcement and sportsmen alike with quality optics, creating jobs for Michigan workers. On the web at eotechgear.com. By Jay's Sporting Goods, with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's has been serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971, with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's. On the web at jaysportinggoods.com. By Grilla Grills of Holland, Michigan, makers of wood pellet, charcoal grills, and professional pellet smokers. Grilla Grills are designed for ease of use to improve your grilling and smoking skills. More information at grillagrills.com. Closed captioning provided by Randy's Hunting Center, serving Michigan as Ruger and Leupold's National Dealer of the Year, and inventor of Ruger's 450 Bushmaster rifle.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man.